Today's topic is 3 personal training certifications every personal trainer should take. And I think this is especially important for beginners in the industry because the lifespan of a trainer, is only 18 months, and it has been for a while. So, the more you can save your pennies, essentially, and especially in this day and age, the better, set you up for success. And it's learning from mistakes that James and I made in the past. We don't want you to make those same mistakes. James, I think you had a good analogy to start this podcast off.
Can we say it? Are we not going to offend everybody if I start saying this?
Well, you might offend a couple of people, but we've all been there. We all did this, so
exactly.
We're offending ourselves as well.
So when you first do your personal trainer certification, you're essentially at the bottom of Mount Stupid on the Dunning-Kruger effect. And you start to scale Mount Stupid as fast as you possibly can, thinking you're going in the right direction until one day, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 months, it could be 5 years down the line, you realise, holy crap, I know nothing about what I'm doing. Everything they said to me in PT school just does not work, pretty much. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that. I certainly can do. I think I can say hands down that the PT certification that I did, I thought I came out of there going, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Went to train a bunch of big burly police guys, did not work, didn't fly. Had to learn very quickly.
100%. I had exactly the same. I remember being at a party in someone's garden in summer and thinking, having a chat, spouting all these things I'd just learned in PT school, thinking I knew absolutely everything. And then, a few years down the line, I realised I know absolutely nothing whatsoever. And the more I do, the more I realise I don't know. So, yeah.
We all go through it, and it doesn't mean you're bad people. It's just that you have to understand. And for those who don't know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, just Google it. Please, it's a very important topic, and talk about your ability to understand and appreciate learning and knowing where you sit essentially on the learning scale and how you apply things. And I think it's all about, you should always be learning. You should never assume that you know everything, but there is that sort of bravado at the start. You go, yeah, I know everything about PT school when you come out, and you have that. It's like young, dumb, full of cum type mentality. Essentially, right at the start.
I'm sure you should have said that, but okay.
I don't know, but it's that sort of mentality right at the start, isn't it? So you have that, and you think here, and then you climb up, and then the more you learn, the less you know. I think that's the most important concept, and we're coming this over 15 years. We're realizing now that once we think we know something changes it. It's why I'm wearing a weight vest at the moment in my way of trying to lose weight.
Every day's a school day.
Every day's a school, and that's really important. So. But it's important you do have that personal training qualification at the start. You have to have it for legal reasons, I think, and just to have that peace of mind for insurance and all sorts of other reasons. And if you've gone to university, great, fantastic. So what we want to do is help people overcome what they should do next. Because there's this thing about new personal trainers and even older personal trainers. They think it's a badge of honor to collect as many certifications as you can. However, not all certifications are practical on the gym floor. And also, you've got to make sure you have enough money to pay for these certifications, because people think certifications and badges attract clients. They don't. They really don't.
Exactly what I thought. Yep, exactly. I remember, I'm not going to name any certifications outright specifically, but I did several in the first couple of years when I passed thinking this will get me clients, this will get me clients. It never did. Because clients never asked, never cared what I'd done. They more wanted to know me as a person and how I could help them. It wasn't about the certifications that I had.
Exactly. It really isn't. That's why we don't put any certifications listed on anybody's websites that we're building at the moment, because people don't read it. They don't care. They really don't care. They want to know how you can help them. So what we're trying to do is we're saying this from a position of love. We want to help you guys overcome this. So what we say so a lot of white belts, so those are guys who are earning less than $2,500 or pounds a month in our system. They think we need more certifications. You need to earn the right to earn more money before you invest back in certifications. So you've got to think here, the more you earn, then you can start investing back in your education, which you need to do. You really need to invest in education and keep learning. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. So you have that mentality first, and then when you're in blue belt and purple belt, then you can start looking, okay, what courses am I going to do this year? And don't try and do everything in one weekend or like multiple courses in a month. You just can confuse the hell out of everything. So what we find is like limiting yourself to 2 or 3 a year, and then diving in deep with those systems to then take those bits and apply them to your model. And that's the most important thing as a trainer. The beauty of fitness is such a wide scope that you can create your own systems. You can create your own style of thinking, how you approach things. So you take the best bits of every system and then mold them together to become your own. That's kind of our thought process and what we've learned over the years. And we see so many people who are investing in courses right now who need actually more money into the business when they shouldn't be spending, think it's going to attract more people. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
Yeah. And it's not just about the money you spend investing in courses. It's, do you then implement what you've learned on that course afterwards? And most of the time the answer is no. So essentially you have wasted your money. So the three we're going to mention in this podcast, I think, not only are they great courses, they are easy to implement within your own system of training. First one, James, precision nutrition.
Yeah, let's start with nutrition. So think about your courses on nutrition when you do it in PT school. It's usually dated from 1970, if we're lucky.
Based on the government Eat Well plate or whatever it is in your country.
Exactly. I haven't done a PT session for a long time, so I don't know what it is right now, but it was back then anyway. So it gives you lots of advice. However, it doesn't give you any practical advice. So absolutely, one of the biggest companies in the world, Precision Nutrition, I think they're a great starting foundation for most people to do. They have a level 1, they have a level 2 cert as well, which is more advanced. But I think level 1 is a great place for people who want to start into the world of nutrition. We're not saying it's the only nutrition certification you should be doing, but it's a good starting point if you haven't got a degree in diet, or you're not a dietitian or anything like that at all. It's a really good place to start to understand the foundations and basics of the science behind it, to give you a better perspective overall, and then apply it to real practical application in working with clients. Because not every client, believe it or not, will want to count calories and macros.
Definitely not. So as we say, one thing not to talk about at the dinner table is nutrition, and what else? Religion and kettlebells. Don't talk about them either. The next one is Mike Boyle's CFSC. We're a big fan of Mike Boyle's work, aren't we, James?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Mike trained thousands of athletes. It's thousands. He's the coach of coaches. Everyone knows who he is. He's been on the Perform Better circuit for years. He was the guy who brought single leg training to the world, the masses per se. I think is the best way to put it. There are people who argue that they did it before him, but either or, he's the guy who really nailed it home and started explaining why he uses it. And there's a lot of stuff here. So it's not just the science or the way they do things. It's the simplicity they deliver it and how they take out complexity. They've got the athlete's best interest at heart, and they want to see what works and what's easy and what's simple. So by doing one of the level 1 certs with those guys, you're getting a practical application, I'd say in athletic training, which is very different to bodybuilding. So I think if you're looking at everyday people that most of us as clients work with, you're going to gain more from working with the athlete perspective and what they need to be doing, and then adopting it that's appropriate to your clients at their age group than you would if you went to bodybuilding. If they want bodybuilding stuff, I don't really know any certification about bodybuilding, to be honest with you, off the top of my head.
No, couldn't tell you one off the top of my head, to be honest. What I was going to say though, if you can't afford his certification right now, get his new functional training for sports book as preparatory work, because it is a great book. The next one is the functional movement screen.
Yep, kudos to all the guys at FMS, and shout out to all these guys actually. Yes, we may be slightly biased because we know them. However, we just know that we apply all this stuff mostly into everything that we do. So Gray, Lee, the entire team at FMS, they are the godfathers of movement, essentially. They took on the work that they started off by Paul Chek, and they made it systemized and standardized across the range, I think, across everything they try and do. And this now is a huge element of testing for athletes at the high level, how you approach movement, and it's a movement first approach. So if you're not doing a movement first approach and you're just load onto this function, classic Gray Cook quote even, there's something going wrong. So they are an absolute gem of a system to understand how to apply it. Now again, each of these systems, we use them, but we take the best bits of each and we adapt them to our own model. So let's take the FMS as an example. We absolutely believe in their fundamentals and philosophies, but we can't work with the FMS online around the world with their kit. We have to use variations of it. So that's how we approach it when working clients around the world. Same with Mike Boyle stuff. Some people haven't got all the equipment that we need, or some of them can't even use barbells at all. So we've got to be careful what we use in those terms too. And likewise with precision nutrition, we take bits that work and bits that don't. So, but it's given us a practical framework, and the most practical use we've had of any courses I think, out there.
I think that's what maybe sets these three that we're in particular that we're talking about apart. The fact that they are great courses, but they're so good because they allow us to pick bits from them. We don't have to use everything. They give us a framework to build off and adapt into our system. Whereas some courses you'd be like, well, none of that's practical. What am I going to do with that now? But until you take it, you don't know, obviously. But these courses, yeah, you can pick bits from them and just use them. You don't have to use everything and adapt into your own system of training, which I think shows how high quality they are.
Exactly, and I think there's a potential fourth one, and I'll bring this up, and I'll touch on the elephant in the room a little bit.
Bonus content.
A bonus bit of content, and that is, for people who know me, they knew me. I started doing a lot of stuff with the kettlebell world back in the day with the RKC and Strong First. Now, why do they not fit in the top three? Is because I don't think they're as holistic an approach, if anything, to how we approach training. It's quite controversial. I think definitely it's a good one to do. So let's just caveat that. I think if people want to really learn the intricacies of the kettlebell, it's a great way to go down. But it can end up being a little bit dogmatic, and you don't see the bigger picture of health and longevity in them. So you go there for the practical aspects of learning how to use kettlebells properly, integrating with the stuff of the FMS and the stuff that Mike Boyle has in athleticism, and then tying into precision nutrition, and then you've got a good system. So that's a fourth one, but it doesn't make the top three, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Remember, the kettlebell is just a tool, ladies and gentlemen. It is not sent down from God on high. Indeed, so those are Precision Nutrition, Mike Boyle's CFSC, and what was the third one? FMS. There we go. Almost forgot that, the FMS. So we highly recommend those three courses. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you want to find out more about our system of training, go to strengthmatters.com/system.